Hi, I'd like to recommend my new book on Reiki. It's called Personal Transformation Through Reiki. The last video that I made was in Thai when I was recommending my book in Thai, which is great for my Thai friends who could read this, but many people complained that they couldn't understand a word in the video. So I thought, okay, I'll get busy, I'll finish the book in English, and then make a video in English so that all my friends around the world can understand. So I finished the book a couple of months ago. I'm just now getting around to making a video and getting it available to everybody. Reiki is the healing technique that I use here at our clinic in Bangkok. And this is the manual that we use for our students, level 1, level 2. And actually my Reiki master students will study from this book also, because it includes a lot of advanced techniques. So what I hope I've accomplished with the book is that if you've never even heard of Reiki, you can pick up the book and get an idea what Reiki is about, how it works, the history, what it means, what you use it for, what do you mean by healing, which might be different than going to a medical doctor at the hospital. Is a very different type of curing technique, where with Reiki is more of an energetic approach. So those are some very abstract concepts, and hopefully I made them concrete enough that the average person can understand and say, oh, when you compare it that way, it makes sense. So the first couple of chapters deal with the basics of things like that. I've also written quite a bit about quantum physics here because, well, one, I really enjoy studying quantum physics. I find it a very interesting subject, particularly because it relates to energy. And the most powerful insight that I've gained from studying quantum physics is that consciousness influences matter. And that's a bizarre thing, because consciousness would be, who knows what consciousness is? Let's say it's thought, or it's feeling, or it's spirit, or maybe you define it in some different way. But whenever it is, it definitely can influence matter. Matter being it water, or cells, or the organs, or the bones, or the muscles, whatever. So once we know scientifically that human consciousness, human thought, has an influence on the physical material world at the quantum level, at the molecular level, or at the organic level, now we're getting to some very powerful insights about the nature of our world. And what I use with Reiki is, not that I totally understand quantum physics and the whole universe, but I have a good enough grasp on it to realize we can heal people. We can heal each other through our thoughts, through our touch, through our compassion, our kindness. So what this book does is it explains a lot how that works, as well as gives the nuts and the bolts about, okay, so how do I do it? And when I was first working on this book, I talked to my friend Lee, and I said, oh, Lee, I don't want to write just nuts and bolts book. He goes, well, Tom, why not be the guy who wrote the nuts and bolts book? So sure enough, here's the nuts and bolts. That's about 4 or 5 chapters. And then I go into some more advanced techniques. When my friend Eric read the first draft of the book, he goes, I like it, but you should say more about vegetarianism. And yeah, because vegetarianism is a very powerful energy. And by eating in a healthy way, and I call it naturopathy, rather than just strict vegetarianism, is eating healthy, and going in the direction of vegetarianism is a healthy step. Now, whether you go 100% or 50%, that of course is a personal decision, but this book outlines how to have a naturopathic approach to health, good, clean internal hygiene. And then I take these naturopathy approaches, these vegetarian approaches, and I combine them with the Reiki approach. Okay, which is actually quite a bit more abstract, because it's dealing with energy or abstract concepts such as love, compassion, which we all know about, but it's not something like I can exactly sit down and prove that I have compassion or demonstrate that person A loves person B. It's not something that the scientists can quantify. Maybe that's why I like it, that it can't be quantified. What's most important is after people receive Reiki, they feel better. I'm not saying that we can, cure the world of all of its ills, but once we realize that a great deal of illness is right in here, stress, anger, frustration, jealousy, fear, whatever regrets we might have, we hold them in our hearts, or we hold them in our bellies, or we hold them in our throats, or we hold them in our minds. And it's just our patterns of thinking, or of speaking, or of taking action contribute to or perpetuate the illnesses that we're suffering. So this is some pretty bizarre stuff. If you're not familiar with this line of work, you say, I haven't seen Tom in a long time. He's gotten pretty bizarre. Well, you can figure it all out. Read the book, and I take it step by step. So if it's totally strange to you what I'm saying, well, give the book a read. I've done my best to explain it to a person who's just getting their hands onto Reiki. Or if you're into Reiki already, you say, well, I want to be more advanced. I want to deal with things like distance healing. In fact, my friend Lana, she's up in Chiang Mai, and she goes, oh, I want to learn Reiki too. I have friends and family back in Russia, and I want to send them Reiki. Like, okay, read chapters 5 and 6, and then we'll get together for class, and you can start healing through consciousness from a distance. If you're at Reiki 1, Reiki 2, that makes some sense. If you are a very fundamental materialist, you've probably stopped the video and says, okay, Tom has gone too far. Give the book a read. Give it a chance. Take it step by step. Now, it sounds like I'm trying to persuade you. And of course, I'll say, no, I don't persuade anybody. But I suppose I am persuading, so let me just admit that. But in a more neutral sense, read it with an open mind. Give it some thought. I haven't proven everything. Actually, I've just asked a lot of questions. Something I found to be in my nature is I'm not going to claim something unless I really know myself. If I've read something and I'm influenced by it, I've included it. I've included the words of, great monks, great healers, scientists, psychologists from all different fields who explain concepts that I feel they relate, or they support, or they supplement what we can do with Reiki. So I find this a fascinating world, and this book is the compilation. I've been doing Reiki, I guess this would be about my 9th year that I've been working and practicing in Reiki, and here in Bangkok I've been teaching regularly. I guess it's 5 or 6 years now. So you'll see there are a lot of examples from our students here. Sometimes you see the photos, those are our students who've been coming to study with us. And at other times I'm quoting from students who have written emails to me describing some life situation they've been able to change. So hopefully you'll find the book very positive, uplifting, and inspiring. And afterwards, if you have any questions, of course you can send me an email and let me know. And I have chapters available. If you don't want to read the whole book, that's fine. You can look at my website, and there'll be different chapters available, so you could download certain topics. Let's say you want to know more about chakras, for example, or how to work a pendulum, or any of these different topics that might seem very esoteric. I try to put them in familiar terms so that a basic student, or the average person, or an advanced student would be able to benefit. So I've done my best, and I hope that it benefits you in some way. So see you next chance we get. Take care. Bye-bye.